Right now I am just doing some exhaust stuff to my car. I got some new stainless steel headers. These are cheap Chinesium shit. They are barely fit. There's about a micron of clearance between that pipe and the steering column. The holes didn't line up, so it was overall a huge nightmare to get these things installed. So take it from me when I tell you, just spend the extra $100 and get something better than, you know, cheap eBay shit. But they are on now. I did make them fit. They won't leak like my old header leaked. Hopefully. I mean, who knows, but they shouldn't. I also got a new muffler. I say new muffler. That's a used Gretty muffler that I traded a 12-pack of Corona for. So yeah, right now all I got left to do is throw the new exhaust onto the headers, get it hung up, and I should be good. So, I finished sealing up this rocker here. As you can see, I didn't really keep much of the rocker at all. I just sealed it up. It looks like shit, but I have side skirts to go over it. It's fine. Next thing I did was put giant works on this car. These are 17 by 8.5 minus 20 offset, so they stick out quite a bit. So to remedy that, I cut out the fender. And if you're not nauseous enough about my shitty repair job, I am going to cut out even more of the fender, because everything from about here to about there is Bondo on rust. And if there's one thing you don't want on your car, it's rust. And if there's one thing you don't want on your rust, it's Bondo. So, yeah, if you're squeamish about people cutting into cars, maybe just turn this video off. I had to cut out to get rid of all the rust and Bondo. Now, the next thing I did was I took the old piece that I just cut out. You can see that's total garbage. And I traced it out onto some fresh sheet metal, and I'm going to replace it now. So that's the new piece cut out and tack welded in. Now, some people might be wondering why I even bothered replacing this piece at all. Why not just leave this whole space open and then throw a over fender over it, and I won't have rubbing problems? Pretty much the only reason I bothered replacing this is because it allows me to seal up this wheel arch. So typically what you do to seal the wheel arch is you take this over fender here, or you take this inner fender here, you bend it up and you weld it to the arch here, and that effectively just kind of seals the wheel well off and prevents like water and dirt and smoke and stuff from getting into here, which is pretty much the inside of your car. I mean, that's not exactly the inside of your car, but I bet you if I were to stick my hand in here, I could, or if I could fit my hand in here, I could reach it through into the trunk. So, yeah, the next thing I'm going to do is get the inner fender bent up and tack welded, and then I'm going to weld this entire thing at once. Inner fender sealed up on both sides. I'm not going to go into too much detail or show it very close because I don't want to show off my horrible booger welds. But yeah, it's solid. It'll keep water out. And that's what I'm concerned about. Next thing's next. I got over fenders and side skirts which need to go on. This is pretty much the end result of what I did this time around. You can see I got the over fenders on. They're not like the nicest over fenders, and they're kind of second hand and a little bit rough around the edges, but I think it kind of works with my car's very rough around the edges aesthetic here. I got the side skirts on. I'm actually really happy with how they look. I got so used to looking at the rocker panel just being either rusted or like cut out, that actually having something there below the door, I'm really happy with. I got the wheels on. I can't remember if I showed these wheels what they are yet, but these are the new wheels I got to replace the Steelies. They are 17-inch worked Euro lines. These are actual works. I do have the center caps for them. They're just not on right now. 8.5s in the back
8s in the front, so that's 225s and 215s. They're a little bit rough around the edges. They could realistically use a polish, maybe just use a rebuild. But honestly, compared to the Steelies I had, ignore that wheel gap, that's just because the front of the car is jacked up. But compared to the Steelies I had, it's like a night and day difference. It looks like a completely different car, except for the fact that obviously it still has the same shitty paint job. But yeah, I'm really happy with these wheels.
Alright, right now I'm taking the windshield out of the 240. There's about 5 different reasons this windshield needs to come out. For one, it's got to be cracking it. It leaks. It's got rust all around the edges that I need to fix. And that's about all of it. But yeah, I got an appointment in a couple days here to get that windshield replaced. So what I need to do here is pull the windshield out and then fix all this rust around the edge. Because this is the main reason I'm doing it, is this rust around the edge here. This is about the last rusty, really rusty part of the car here, and it's pretty bad all the way around. There's some up in this corner, goes most of the way along the top edge here. There's a bunch in the cowling down here too. The cowling stuff I'm not too concerned about because it's not something that really needs to get, you know, painted over or anything. I can just grind that down and, you know, treat it. Doesn't have to look beautiful. This part I do want to make look good, obviously, because that's something that has to get painted over later. But yeah, once I get that fixed, that's just one more step on the road to being able to paint the car, honestly. I got new doors over there. New doors. I bought used doors that are in better shape. My doors are kind of rusty. My driver door is rusty. And I got a fender over here that I'm debating whether or not I'm going to put on, because it's not, I have a bit of rust on this fender here. Like, I don't know if you can see in the video, but that part's wavy. So I would like to get rid of that, but this one also has a bit of a dent here that I don't like. So one of these 2 fenders has to get fixed, and I don't know which one it's going to be yet. But for today, plan is just get the windshield out and hopefully clean up some of the rust around it. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get it out, honestly. So I got all the sealant out of the edges here. Now I got a guitar string in there. And I'm just working that along, getting that main seal between the windshield and the pinch welds taken care of. It's actually going a bit smoother than I thought. So Brennan came over, helped me pull the windshield out. As you can see, we kept it intact enough that it at least didn't, you know, break and make everything a pain in the ass. So now we can really see the total of what needs to be fixed here. So down here by the wiper cowl is about as bad as I thought it was going to be. Where I live in the wintertime, this area just collects snow melts. It's just a fucking train wreck. It doesn't look too bad. You can see there's a lot of flaky shit on top. That's mostly just the paint peeling off, but it's solid enough. It's pretty fucking gone, but there's no holes in it. I'm pretty confident I can at least salvage it. The sides up until the top are all pretty good. As you can see, there's not really much rust here. A little bit of rust here and there, but just a bit of surface shit. Both of the top corners look a lot like this. They've even got holes in them, which isn't good. But other than that, you know, the rest of the top is pretty alright. So the plan is tonight, I'm going to hit everything that doesn't need to be welded. Like down here in the sides and stuff. Everything that doesn't need new metal, I'm going to hit that hardcore with the wire wheel and get some treatment and some paint on it. And then tomorrow night, Brendan's going to bring over the good welder and we're going to fix this shit up. And then it should be hopefully good to go by Saturday morning. We'll be able to... I'll be able to take it to get its fucking new windshield put in, so Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So, I hit everything with the wire brush. It did a fucking bang-up job at taking off all the rust. In some places, so much so that it exposed some holes, which is about what I expected. This part was pretty done. But everywhere that doesn't need to be patched with a hole, I just hit with Pour 15. Like most of this stuff, like here, there was no rust anyways, but I still hit it because I still used the wire brush to strip off the rubber. I didn't put anything in the interior to block it, so I got shit all over it. But it needed a good vacuum and a good Armor All wipe anyways. That's not a big deal. This half of the wiper cowl did not get any holes in it, which is nice. So that part was able to just get wire brush back to clean metal and covered in Pour 15. Same thing with the driver's side pinch weld. So pretty much what me and Brendan have to patch up tomorrow is these holes up here. That's the worst one right there. A little tiny one right over there. Same thing on the passenger side. This is why you don't let crackheads install windshields. I don't know, Brennan's a good welder. I don't think this will take us too long or be too much work. Then we got these ones in the wiper cowl. This one and that one. Those three all need to be done pretty well because that's where the windshield mounts. But like down here and down there, I'll still do a good job on them, but they're not as important because the windshield doesn't have to sit on them. So hopefully we can get that all done tomorrow because we pretty much have tomorrow night to get all that stuff replaced and painted because the next day, Saturday, at 10 a.m. I got to take this car in to get a new windshield, and I don't feel like moving my appointment and potentially having to let my car sit with no windshield for longer because I do still daily this car, so I would like it back on the road on Monday, but we'll see if that is even a possibility here. So we just got the rest of the windshield frame all patched up here, which is good because I have to take it to get my windshield put in about 12 hours. So it's a little uneven. I don't think they'll have problems putting a windshield on it. Hopefully they don't. As it stands right now, I'm driving it there with no windshield. I was going to, I don't know, somehow ghetto rig that one back on just so the cops wouldn't see me and pull me over. But I'm just gonna risk it here. Hopefully the cops don't pull me over. Maybe I could talk my way out of it by saying I'm on my way to get a new windshield, but I doubt it. But yeah, so hopefully next time I update, I'll have a new windshield. The big success here is that everything, like there was so much rust, and it is now all fresh metal covered in Pour 15. And this was really the last step before we were going to be able to paint it. Because I mean, also the doors have to be put in there behind the windshield. But that was the last big exterior piece of rust. There's still a bit of rust on the underside and stuff, but nothing that would prevent me from painting the body of the car. And this, it really fucking needs a paint job. Like, this is kind of my style. If you watch this channel, you probably know that most of the vehicles I drive tend to be about this level of sketchy looking. But this one feels sketchier. Like the truck, when I was driving around with no bed on it, I didn't feel like as much of a grease ball as I do driving this thing around with its insanely shitty paint job. So I'm driving my car to the windshield place. I opted not to put any sort of windshield in. So I'm just, it's so windy. It's hard to breathe. You don't realize like what a 40-kilometer-an-hour wind is until you drive a car that speed without a windshield in it. But the windshield place is across town. I'm trying not to get
ticket, so I'm just taking, residential streets right now. I'm staying off the main roads. If I was on the main roads, I would probably honestly have suffocated from wind already, so this is good. Yeah, so far I'm about halfway there, and I have not become arrested, so we're good. Police car just drove right past me without noticing, so that was a huge relief. I had successfully made it to the windshield place without getting arrested.
The new windshield is in. Windshield place did a great job. I was actually a little worried they wouldn't put the new windshield in just based on how, there's like rust fixes underneath where it has to sit, and I was worried they'd take one look and go, we can't put a windshield on that. But no, they had no problem with it. Put one on. It's been on for a couple days now. The wind noise is a lot better. The edges are a lot better now that they're not absolutely covered in rust. So yeah, that'll about do it for this video. I think I got quite a bit done in this video. I think I got the exhaust done, side skirts on, fenders cut out, and over fenders mounted. So I honestly don't know what's gonna happen next, but stay tuned for next time.